Alright, well, I haven't seen many video unboxings, so I figured I'll give it a shot. This is my contribution to the internet. This is how to set up the Luba 2. Learning everything that I did with Luba 1. Hopefully it'll go pretty smooth on Luba 2. First thing is, do not remove these straps until you have it pretty close to where you want to set it up, because it makes it a lot easier to carry. So let's do that. Alright, well, I had set my Luba 1 up right around here with the plan to move it back onto the concrete, but didn't get the best signal because of this big tall wall here. So I'm debating setting it up right here. Haven't fully decided that yet. First thing I'm going to do is put up the RTK antenna. So I'm going to get that out first. I found on my first time with Luba 1 that the instructions were not very clear and the app wasn't very clear. It was just kind of like, step 1, set up Luba. Step 2, turn on your app. So I think what they expect you to do is just sort of figure it out, which is fine. Sometimes I wish instructions would tell me that. Hey, find the cables that connect to each other and do that. So that's my plan for this time around. I'm just gonna grab the RTK and then find the power and extension cable that match the RTK and take them up to my attic, because I am setting this up in my attic. And I will talk about that a little bit more when I get up there. This definitely looks different. This is a considerably different color and different look for the RTK. Very interesting. This looks like power, as you can tell, but I don't know which power it's for. So again, rather than trying to read the instructions, I'm just gonna look and see. I'll bet that's for the base, because it's a massive power brick, and obviously the mower needs a lot more power than the RTK. So I'll set that to the side. Set that down. I really apologize for the bad camera work. If I could do better, I would. But I don't have a tripod. I don't have any grand intentions about starting a YouTube channel. I just looked up Luba 2 unboxings for my own sake. Didn't find any good ones. So I figured I'll give it a shot. Hopefully this helps one person. So that small little power brick, I'm just sure is for RTK. Now I've got 2 different extension cables. Oh no, this is different feet than last time, but they're the yard stakes. So we'll cover that later. So that plus this. Let's just make sure they go together so that I take the right thing up into my attic. Yes, they go together for sure, just like that. See how it is rectangle, rectangle? Not really sure the difference. This all looks really familiar. I thought there was a slight difference in the cable for the new RTK, but it looks really familiar. I don't have my old Luba. I returned it because I was in the return window when Luba 2 was released, so lucky me. Oh, that's very different. All right. Well, how does that work? So how does that connect to that. I'm not so confident the instructions will tell me. Oh, here, there you go. That's how they connect. So you have to use the extension. I got it. Because if you don't use the extension, then they expect you to be plugging directly into your base and not needing this. So if you do use this, they expect you to use the extension. That's fine. Oh wow, they included a screwdriver. That was not included last time. Very special screwdriver. Sure, I'll open it. Interesting. Okay. It's pretty sturdy, not too much wobble. Alright. That should be everything I need. I'll just show you this so that way you don't have to wait too long in the video to see all this stuff. This is the extension. See how that is. You can't see it because of the reflection. See how that is triangular. The triangular stuff's going to go for your actual robot mower, and the rectangle stuff goes towards the RTK. And if everything goes like last time, that's pretty much everything you need to know in order to set this up. And you can forget taking the instructions out. Oh, we mount our own camera onto the Luba. I did not see that coming. I better pull the instructions out for that part. And then the last box, just for completeness sake, that's all there is to it. I won't even be using that because I'm mounting mine in the attic. That's the stake, just so you know. That's the stake if you want to mount the RTK right next to your Luba. So let's head up to the attic. Alright, so this is annoying, but they do not give you any way to mount the RTK to a wall unless you buy the J pole. On the Luba 1, you can mount it to the wall, you just didn't have any extension without the J pole. But now, there's absolutely no way to do it as far as I can tell. So, let me just show you what my plan is. So this, just gonna take this apart so I can feed it into the pole. Since I did not buy the J pole, since I'm mounting it in my attic, that J pole is really just for people who are mounting it on the outside of their house, up under their fascia. So, slide that boy down into there, and I'll probably just slide it all the way through, but you can see there's an opening right there. Boy, that's tough. You see those set screws? There's 2 set screws on either side. Boy, oh boy. Let's, yikes. I guess I don't know what I'm doing, do I? That was dumb. Now it's stuck. So don't be like me and keep that cap on. Alright, well, it's past the screws. There you go. Now you can see it in there, and you're supposed to pull it like so. And I think I'll just leave it like that for now, but what I'll probably end up doing is feeding it through the rest of the pole. What I wanted to show you outside in the good light is these straps. I happen to be a plumber, so I have access to a bunch of pipe straps. So there's two different size straps. If you go to your plumbing section of like Home Depot, Lowe's, they're going to have CTS, which stands for copper tube size, and IPS, which stands for iron pipe size. So this is a 1-inch IPS, and you can see it's just a little loose. And this is another one. I'm just brought those along just in case, because these are metal and you can squeeze them a little bit and tighten it up. See, now it's tight on there. But I don't know that's going to hold it particularly tight. These are also metal, and this is 3/4 inch IPS. And you can stretch that, and then the screws will pull it in. It'll probably scratch this pipe up a little bit, but it would hold really tight, but your screws won't be tight against whatever you're fastening it to. There'll be a little bit of a gap. So I believe the closest thing is CTS. This is 1-inch CTS. I only have them in plastic straps. So I think that's the closest. It's still not perfect though. So this is an odd shape. It's probably what is called a tubular size, which is like what your chrome traps underneath your kitchen sink are. But you pretty much never strap them, so good luck finding straps for tubular size. I'm sure they exist. I don't have any in my plumbing shop. So I'm going to use these first. I just wanted to show you the different options. All of these would probably work with enough oomph to your drill and just a long enough screw to pull it in. So I will pause the video and head up into the attic. I forgot. I'm going to go ahead in the good light and fasten the RTK to the pole. Hopefully I can do that on camera. I've never filmed myself doing anything before. I just watch YouTube. I don't make it. So there's a little slice right there, a little tab right there. That's nice. Righty tighty. Very nice. I like that. That's very secure feeling. Very secure. All right. And I have that inside. I'm assuming the reason they provide a cap is because they want you to winterize it. So I won't need to because I'm putting it in the attic. All right. See you up in the attic. All right, we are up in my attic, and so there's a couple things to consider with attics. This is not official Momotion advice. I don't think that they want you to do this, but it works really well, and I have insulation on my roof deck. So this is a conditioned attic, so I don't have to worry about the RTK getting blazing hot in the summer. You, however, probably don't if you're just looking at the odds of how many houses are built with insulation on their ceiling versus their roof. So that is something to consider. If, attics do get extremely hot above the insulation barrier. So do it at your own risk, but it works really well having the RTK up close to your roof. So my plan is to put this right up there on that board. And I'll probably just like take a really quick video when I'm done, but I'm gonna put those two straps on that board you see right there and slide the RTK way up against the roof and then just plug it in down there. So that's all. I'm gonna pause it and I'll take a quick video when I'm done, but simple enough. Quick tip, you can remove this and it makes feeding it a lot easier. So there you go. Quick tip, always check the bottom of your pipe before trying to feed a wire through it. No wire is going to come out of that because it's not hollow. So scratch all that. You've got to use this hole and can't feed the wire all the way through. So I can confirm the 1-inch CTS pipe straps work fine. You should be able to search that at like Home Depot and find them pretty easy. If not, just Google, like on Google Maps, type in plumbing supplier, call any of them, ask them for 1-inch CTS pipe straps. They'll have them. You can also get like split rings and threaded rod and all that, make it more complicated. But that totally works. I feel very comfortable. It's nice and sturdy. I threw a level on it and got it level, of course. But what I noticed was it was not magnetic. So I'm guessing that tube is made out of stainless steel because it's definitely not plastic. So now I just need to connect these two pieces together like so. And then this side will go to the RTK, and of course this side will go to the wall, and I'm done. Alright, with the RTK set up, I now move on to the Luba, which you're supposed to do first according to the instructions, but that's never stopped me before. So I'm going to start by mounting the camera on top, because that's what the instructions say you should start with. So let's see how that goes. They provided this handy screwdriver. It's reversible, so I believe that means it should work with any screws. Hopefully I do a good job cameraing this, because I'll primarily be concerned with doing it right as opposed to cameraing it right. So good luck to all the viewers out there. Yeah, it looks like it's a hex head, so I believe I can just turn this around and it should work. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's fairly snug, but actually loose enough. A lot of times if you get your own hex heads and your own hex screws, they'll tend to be extremely snug. And the temptation is to go down a size. But it's better just to use the proper size until your bit wears a little bit. But this is nice. This will be good for homeowners. I really am sorry that the camera's going to keep focusing on my arm. You really don't want to see that. Alright, that's what that looks like. Set that over there. Seems pretty straightforward. Let's just double check. Does black go on black? That is 6 and 6. Yeah. It's actually, they actually look very similar. So they better be color coded. Alright, now camera I'm sure needs to face forward. Oh wow, I'm not super happy. There's no gasket. So I guess the plan is for water to just run into those weep holes. Wow. Okay. I'm assuming they've got a water diversion system. You can see how there's a nice groove here, just right for a gasket. But I don't see any gasket. It won't be very difficult to add one later if I find one in the box. There she is. It's a nice snug fit. Let's get those screws. They're not captive screws. They don't need to be. It allows you to just use the same ones. Always get them started and tighten in a nice pattern, regardless of what the instructions say. Also, these are all nice and metal. Everything feels metal, and definitely the inserts. Yeah, you can't really see that, but what I'm screwing into is definitely a metal insert in the plastic, so that's very comforting. That means you can tighten it down. I'm not going to tighten it so much that I crack the plastic, but you can tighten it a lot more when you're going into metal. So that's nice. Gives you that satisfied, snug feeling versus I'm bending plastic feeling. Give it an extra oomph in all the ways. And call it good. All right. Now, I saw this sticker on another video, but never really looked at what it says. It says, important. Remove the sticker. But yeah, okay. It's important to install the camera, and it's important to install the front bumper, which we will do now. I already saw the instructions. And know that that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, this is interesting. There's an extra cable. I'm 99% sure the last Luba did not have that extra cable. Yeah, it was like 4 solid pins, so now it's like 6 tiny pins. That's fine. I'm sure they saved some money on the material cost, but it'll work just fine. And now they get more signal, I'm sure. 6 instead of 4 is probably better, if I'm remembering correctly. Do you remember those gaskets in the first one? I don't. There's a nice hole. Sorry. There's a hole right there. I'm going to line it up with this slot right there. Easy peasy. Again, everything is made to just make sense. See how there's like no light on this side? Flip it over. There's the little light right there. Of course you want your light on top, so that's the side you're installing on. It's really an easy install if you just think about it versus trying to read the instructions. I just found the instructions to slow you down. Make it more confusing. If instructions are like super step by step, then I'll follow them just for fun because I'm a weirdo. But if it's like, hey, just, install the bumper and doesn't really tell you how, well, I might as well have just installed the bumper without reading that. So, what do I want to do now? I guess I have to make a decision on where I put this. I'm pretty sure I need the extension. What do I want to do? I think I'm gonna put it in the grass for now. I can always move it later to the concrete. One day I'd like to concrete that whole area anyway. So let's start with the power brick and see how far that runs and see if I need the extension. Oh yeah, it doesn't go very far. I think it might be the same power brick as the original. There we go. It is a different extension because it now has this cap on it, just like the RTK did. I don't think that's the way the other one was. Could be wrong. Tangled cables really bug some people. They don't bother me. Not sure why, but they always come untangled. Never had to cut one before. I don't think anybody cuts theirs, but that's kind of my point. It's not that big of a deal. This looks different. Ah, they've already run the cables for you. Okay, so the one that has 2 will be for RTK, and we don't need it. Yep, that's the 2. So we don't need this one. That's only if you're going to share power with your base, but we're using the separate connection. Come on. Okay. I will pay attention when the guide tells me what to do with that, but my guess is we just shove it up in there and then run it like that and bring it on down and done. Now, my map on Luba 1 was crooked with the house, so I'm going to try to square this thing up. I don't know if it makes any difference at all. I kind of think Luba 2 might have some features where they'll overlay a satellite onto your yard. Not sure if that's going to affect the north-south kind of stuff. But anyway, so now I just need to put in those lawn stakes. Boy, that just goes and goes. Alright, I guess I went too tight. I essentially stripped the screw. I actually didn't install these on my first one because it was just a temporary install. And then I was putting it away for the winter, and then I returned it. Okay, I'm stopping right there. Right at the end of that last turn, it suddenly got a little looser. So, my yard's pretty wet. So, these are probably not the ideal time to install. We got pretty good rain last night. You can see it pulling it down. And then I'm just going to stop right there. Oh, okay. There's 5 installed. 3, and I have 2 left. I'm assuming that's just an extra. This last hole here, the real big one, is if you want to install your RTK right on there. But everyone, I think, agrees that remote mount is better. It's like that hole is really just worthless. In my opinion, you could just put the stake right here and not use that hole. And then the advantage of that is you're going to move it in a few months when you have glitches. So you might as well just plan on that being a temporary install, get up and running while you think about where you want to install your RTK. And don't follow the instructions and put it in your attic. So I think I need one of these. Now, I've heard that it makes sense. This doesn't kill power to the entire unit anymore. So that way, if somebody steals it and they think they can pull this, you'll still be able to track it. Or at least my motion will. So that's what the word on the street is. That's fine. I don't really care just because I live in the middle of nowhere and I really don't think anybody's going to steal mine. But if somebody comes for it because they saw this video, don't worry, I'll find you. Not a problem. It'll be a pain in the butt, but I promise it'll be more of a pain in the butt for you. All right, well, let's turn this sucker on and it will probably tell me to place it on the charger. So, you know what, I'm going to do that on camera. And then I think that'll be the end of this video because I'll be ready to go. I don't plan on doing any screen recording on the setup. To me, it's not really that interesting, and I don't really do a lot of screen recording, so I'll let somebody else take it from here. So let me just carry this over. You can listen to me huff and puff, and then I'll turn it on. That's not centered. There we go. I believe we are successful. All right, I think we're done. It comes with this little cap here and plenty of these. I still have one more extra, so that means there's a total of 6 in the box. I don't know how necessary it is, but sure, we'll install it for funsies. So maybe I should have recorded the software process, but it did the exact same thing to me as Luba 1. As soon as I got it connected, and I might have fat fingered the password, but it took a couple of tries, and it connected, and then it immediately will not let you do anything until you've upgraded the firmware, because the firmware of the Luba has to match the firmware of the app, and obviously the app is already up to date when you install it. So when I try to do that, it says, oh, Luba's not connected, so we can't upgrade the firmware. And it's like, well, I just got it connected. So after like just a little tapping around, try this, try that, then it connects. So I wonder if maybe it just takes it a minute to really like actually connect and then make a handshake with the Luba servers. And so anyway, I didn't have to restart the Luba. I didn't have to restart the app. You don't need to go to that extremes. I would probably just wait a minute. But what I ended up doing was just sort of going back out in the app where it says, oh, you need to upgrade your firmware, hitting OK, let's upgrade the firmware. Then it's saying it's not connected and tapping through that. And then it takes you to a page where it shows it's trying to connect to the network that I had signed it up for, but it just says no data or something like that. And so I tapped that a couple times. I almost deleted it, but I didn't. And then all of a sudden it said connected, and then it said no data, then connected, no data. And it blinked maybe 3 times, and then it finally stayed connected. And sure enough, then the firmware started. So right now it's upgrading the firmware. Just figured I'd give everybody a heads up. If that happens to you, I wouldn't take drastic measures. You might want to just wait 5 minutes. Oh, hey, look, I found the additional hole for where I'm supposed to install that last stake. Okay, that seems like overkill, but sure, I guess if you have soft ground, you need a lot of stakes. So, all right. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to continue doing screenshots, or I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to do any screen recording. I'm just going to leave it at this, and I'll pull back up some more videos if I need to say more. So I had bought this sticker. It was only $10 for the Luba 1, and it turns out it works for the Luba 2 as far as I can tell. There's a little bit of overlap there. I don't know if you can see that. You can kind of see where the rim, that's where the adhesive is, versus where the button is. Same on both sides. So it might not be perfect, but it will certainly allow the water to run off, so I'm going to use it. I don't know how well it's stuck, but oh well, it doesn't matter. If it blows away, it blows away. I think they've upgraded the waterproofing on the new Luba anyway.